Insulin pump management. Insulin pumps deliver continuous subcutaneous rapid-acting insulin in a flexible manner. In Australia, their main use is in the management of type 1 diabetes. The care of patients with type 1 diabetes on an insulin pump should involve a team approach which includes the GP as well as specialists in diabetes. The GP should therefore understand the terminology associated with insulin pump therapy. Technical support is available from the manufacturer's helpline. If blood glucose is significantly elevated or the patient is nauseated, blood ketones should be checked. When ketones are elevated, the insulin delivery line should be changed, and referral to an emergency department may be needed. Introduction. People with type 1 diabetes have an absolute deficiency in islet cell function which requires therapy with injections of insulin. Despite advances in injection equipment and modern insulin formulations with favorable pharmacokinetic profiles, there remain limitations in the flexibility and responsiveness of injected insulin. For example, there is very little opportunity to influence basal insulin delivery after an injection of long-acting insulin. Some patients can make appropriate adjustments to their dose of rapid-acting insulin. However, adjustments are usually constrained by the increments in the dose of insulin that are able to be administered, and the patient's ability to perform calculations to account for meals and to correct for glucose concentrations outside a healthy range. These constraints are particularly apparent in people with type 1 diabetes as insulin requirements can vary significantly and rapidly. Insulin pumps have been developed to address these shortcomings. In Australia, insulin pumps are almost entirely used for the management of people with type 1 diabetes. In the USA, in addition to those with type 1 diabetes, there are a significant number of people with type 2 diabetes who use insulin pumps. Insulin pumps. Since the commercialization of the first subcutaneous insulin pumps in the 1970s, pump therapy has changed dramatically. It has evolved from large bulky devices that could only deliver a single basal rate and required patients to calculate bolus doses, to today's pager-sized devices with increasingly sophisticated technology. Insulin pump therapy is rapidly becoming the standard of care for the management of type 1 diabetes. Insulin pumps vary in size and appearance depending on the model, but the basic setup is common to most models. The pump houses an insulin cartridge or reservoir. This reservoir is connected to an insulin delivery line which in turn is connected to a subcutaneous cannula that delivers insulin to the patient. The reservoir, delivery line and cannula generally need to be replaced every 3 days. Just as with injected insulin, the patient should rotate the site for the insertion of the cannula. Want to know how diabetes, exercise, and nutrition come together? Let me share with you all I know. Click the link in the description for a free, just released report about this. Take action now by clicking the link below.